This morning does not need urgency. It needs order. Before thoughts start racing toward unfinished plans, unanswered messages, or silent pressure, pause here. Not to escape the day, but to enter it correctly. There is a difference between waking up and arriving. Most people wake up already scattered. Today is about arriving whole. Take a moment to notice the quiet underneath the noise. Not the silence of sleep, the steadiness beneath awareness. That place exists even on busy mornings, especially on busy mornings. This moment is not about fixing anything. It's about positioning, because clarity is not something chased later in the day. It is something established early. Many days feel exhausting not because of effort, but because of misalignment. Energy leaks when direction is unclear. Thoughts scatter when priorities remain undefined. Movement without intention creates fatigue long before results appear. Confusion is rarely loud. It disguises itself as busyness, as constant motion without depth, as progress that never quite satisfies. This morning invites a different posture, one where movement follows understanding, not pressure. Direction is not about controlling outcomes. It is about choosing orientation. When the inner compass steadies, decisions simplify, noise fades, urgency loses its grip. Clarity does not demand answers to everything. It asks for alignment with what matters now. Clarity is not a personality trait. It is not reserved for the naturally decisive or disciplined. It is a practice renewed daily. Even the most focused people recalibrate. Even the most confident minds pause to realign. Direction drifts quietly when attention scatters. That is why mornings matter. Not for productivity, for orientation. This is the hour where intention can be set before distractions compete for authority. Today does not require perfect certainty. It requires honest attention. What deserves focus today? What no longer deserves mental space? Clarity grows where attention is deliberate. Direction sharpens where energy is respected. Not every thought needs engagement. Not every inner voice deserves agreement. Some thoughts repeat because they are familiar, not because they are true. Some doubts persist because they have been entertained too long. This morning is an invitation to step back from the mental crowd. Observe thoughts without following them. Notice impulses without obeying them. There is wisdom in restraint. There is power in discernment. Direction becomes visible when unnecessary noise fades. Stillness is not passive. It is selective attention. And clarity follows selection. Direction is not found by asking what is urgent. It is found by asking what is essential. Urgency demands reaction. Essence invites intention. This morning is not asking for dramatic change. It is asking for deliberate alignment. One clear priority carries more power than 10 scattered intentions. Order simplifies life. Clarity strengthens resolve. Direction emerges when focus narrows with purpose. There is no need to rush clarity. It arrives naturally when space is created for it. Discipline is not punishment. That lie has done real damage. Discipline is self-respect in motion. It is the quiet decision to stop negotiating with distraction, to stop romanticizing inconsistency, to stop waiting for emotional alignment before acting. Most confusion is not caused by lack of vision. It is caused by lack of follow-through. Ideas collapse when discipline is treated as optional. Clarity fades when consistency is delayed. Discipline is not rigid control. It is gentle but firm commitment to what matters. And commitment does not ask how you feel today. It asks what direction you chose. Confidence does not arrive first. It is built through repetition. Each kept promise strengthens inner trust. Each avoided excuse sharpens self-belief. Inconsistency teaches the mind that intentions are negotiable. Consistency teaches the mind that direction is reliable. This is why small, repeatable actions matter more than dramatic effort. Clarity stabilizes when behavior aligns daily, not occasionally. The nervous system relaxes when it knows what to expect from you. Consistency creates peace because it removes internal conflict. No inner debate, no self-betrayal, just steady movement forward. One of the fastest ways to lose direction is to constantly override the systems you set. Plans mean nothing if they are abandoned at the first inconvenience. Intentions lose authority when excuses are entertained. Discipline is the decision to honor structure even when motivation fluctuates. Motivation is unreliable. Structure is stable. Direction does not require constant inspiration. It requires trustworthy patterns. When structure is respected, clarity compounds. You stop asking what to do next, because the path is already established. Overcomplication is a form of avoidance. Adding more goals does not create progress. Refining fewer commitments does. Discipline includes subtraction, removing distractions, reducing mental clutter, simplifying decisions. Every unnecessary choice drains energy. Every refined routine restores focus. Consistency thrives in simplicity. Direction sharpens when excess is eliminated. This is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters without resistance. Waiting to execute perfectly delays movement. Waiting to feel ready delays growth. Discipline respects rhythm, not perfection. Some days will feel effortless. Others will feel heavy. Consistency bridges both. Direction is protected by daily alignment, not flawless performance. Returning ritual commitment outweighs occasional intensity. Each day becomes a vote for the future being built. Clarity does not demand brilliance. It demands pressure. When discipline and consistency align, something shifts internally. Noise quiets. Decision fatigue decreases. Confidence stabilizes. Direction stops feeling forced. It becomes familiar. This is not pressure. This is grounding. Movement feels intentional rather than frantic. And this is where prayer begins to make sense. Not as desperation, but as partnership. One of the quiet killers of clarity is external validation. Direction weakens when every decision waits for approval. Purpose blurs when movement depends on being seen, affirmed, or understood. Not every assignment is meant to be explained. Not every step will make sense to observers. Clarity strengthens when decisions are anchored internally. This is where many stall. They know what to do, but hesitate because no one has clapped yet. Direction does not require consensus. It requires conviction. Comparison does not sharpen vision, it fragments it. The moment attention shifts to someone else's timing, pace, or reward, clarity begins to erode. Different paths require different seasons. Different callings require different preparations. What looks like delay may be alignment. What looks like silence may be refinement. Direction is personal. Comparison is distraction disguised as curiosity. Releasing comparison restores mental clarity, because focus returns to what is actually assigned. Certainty is not the foundation of direction. Movement is. Clarity deepens as steps are taken, not before. Waiting for absolute certainty keeps many people immobile. Direction becomes visible while walking, not while standing still. Trust builds with evidence, and evidence comes from action. Each step clarifies the next. This is why discipline matters. It generates proof. Silence is often misinterpreted as absence, but clarity does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it rests. Quiet seasons are not punishment. They are integration periods. Direction stabilizes when noise decreases. Not every season requires instruction. Some require embodiment. Clarity matures when it is lived, not constantly analyzed. Many people lose direction not because they lack guidance, but because they stop trusting themselves. Broken promises to self-erode inner authority. Repeated hesitation weakens confidence. Consistency restores self-trust. Each kept commitment rebuilds authority. Each aligned action reinforces direction. Inner authority is not arrogance. It is alignment. And alignment brings peace. Urgency distorts clarity. Rushed decisions often lead to regret. Rushed prayers often mask anxiety. Direction unfolds at the pace of preparation. This is not delay. This is wisdom. Clarity does not need to hurry. It needs to be rooted. Trusting timing protects direction from burnout. There is a difference between firmness and rigidity. Direction requires flexibility without compromise. Listening does not mean surrendering authority. Adjusting does not mean abandoning purpose. Clarity remains stable when ego loosens, and intention remains intact. This balance keeps direction alive rather than brittle. At this point, something has shifted. Noise has settled. Comparison has softened. Authority has returned. Direction feels less frantic, more grounded. This is the posture prayer requires. Not begging, not panic, but partnership. Prayer from clarity carries weight, and that is what comes next. Most people misunderstand surrender. They think surrender means passivity, waiting, doing nothing, handing life over and hoping something magical happens. That is not surrender. That is avoidance dressed as faith. True surrender is an active decision to stop forcing outcomes that are misaligned. It is choosing to release anxiety-driven effort while maintaining disciplined action. Surrender says, I will move, but I will not manipulate. I will act, but I will not rush. I will listen, but I will not shrink. Clarity strengthens when effort is no longer fueled by fear. Not every good goal is a God-aligned goal. Some goals are driven by pressure, others by comparison, others by the need to prove something. Direction becomes distorted when motivation is impure. This is why confusion returns again and again, because the root is not addressed. Clarity requires honest examination. Is this decision driven by purpose or panic? By calling or compensation? By alignment or applause? Direction stabilizes when motivation is purified. People expect discernment to feel intense, a sudden sign, a loud voice, a dramatic confirmation. But real discernment is often subtle. It feels like calm rather than excitement, like peace rather than urgency, like clarity rather than emotional charge. Confusion is noisy, fear is loud, alignment is steady. Learning to recognize this difference protects direction from emotional manipulation. This is where most people struggle. Waiting too long breeds stagnation. Moving too fast breeds chaos. Direction requires sensitivity. Waiting is necessary when emotions are elevated. Clarity feels pressured. Fear is driving urgency. Movement is necessary when peace is present. Direction feels grounded. Hesitation comes from doubt, not wisdom. Discernment sharpens with practice. This is not about perfection. It is about attentiveness. Outdated beliefs distort new direction. What worked in one season may restrict the next. What once protected may now confine. Clarity requires the courage to update internal maps. This includes old definitions of success, outdated timelines, inherited expectations, past versions of identity. Direction becomes clearer when the past is no longer consulted for future instructions. The need to predict outcomes weakens faith. Direction is not about knowing where every step leads. It is about trusting the path unfolds with obedience. Trying to foresee everything creates anxiety. Staying present builds clarity. Process teaches what prediction never could. Growth happens in participation, not projection. Certainty is not a prerequisite for alignment. Faith does not require full understanding. It requires willingness. Many wait for perfect clarity and miss divine direction already available. Clarity often arrives after commitment. The step reveals the path, not the other way around. Now the posture is set, not desperation, not confusion, not striving, but readiness. The mind is quieter. Motives are clearer. Direction feels less forced. This is where prayer shifts, from pleading to alignment, from asking what to do to surrendering how it unfolds. Let us pray. God, we come without performance, without rehearsed words, without pretending to know what we are doing, not confused but honest, not desperate but open, not weak but willing. There are moments where the noise inside the mind is louder than the world outside, moments where thoughts circle endlessly, decisions feel heavy, and direction seems blurred by overthinking. In this space, we ask not for urgency, but for stillness. Quiet the mental clutter that pulls attention in too many directions. Slow the racing thoughts that demand instant answers. Remove the pressure to decide prematurely. Let clarity rise gently, without force, without fear, without strain. God, direction is not always missing. Sometimes it is ignored. Sometimes the path is clear, but comfort delays obedience. Sometimes the way is known, but fear disguises itself as caution. Expose hesitation that masquerades as wisdom. Reveal fear hidden beneath logic. Strengthen the courage required to move forward with peace. We ask for direction that is not loud, not dramatic, not fueled by pressure, but steady and grounded. Direction that aligns the heart, clarifies intention, and settles the soul. God, release the grip on outcomes that were never meant to be controlled. There are plans built on timelines, expectations shaped by comparison, and goals formed from survival rather than purpose. Dismantle what is driven by fear of falling behind. Disrupt paths pursued only to avoid disappointment. Correct directions chosen from exhaustion rather than calling. Replace control with trust. Replace anxiety with assurance. Replace striving with alignment. Let effort come from peace, not panic. Not every decision feels spiritual, yet every decision shapes direction. Guide the small choices, the conversations, the commitments, the pauses, the steps taken quietly without recognition. Grant discernment that recognizes what drains energy versus what restores it, what distracts versus what directs, what looks productive versus what is purposeful. Sharpen sensitivity to what brings peace and distance from what creates unrest. Let clarity deepen through attentiveness, not overanalysis. God. Some confusion is inherited. Old habits, old beliefs, old definitions of success that no longer fit the current season. Break attachment to outdated versions of identity. Release loyalty to paths that once felt safe but now feel heavy. Allow growth without guilt, change without fear, expansion without apology. Where resistance remains, soften it. Where fear lingers, calm it. Where doubt persists, ground it in truth. Clarity means little without courage. Grant the strength to move even when certainty is incomplete. To take steps without needing full visibility. To trust the unfolding process. Remove the need for constant reassurance. Build confidence rooted in alignment rather than approval. Let progress be measured by obedience, not speed. God. Let peace be the confirmation. Not excitement, not urgency, not pressure. Peace that remains steady even when circumstances are unclear. Peace that settles deeply rather than fluctuates emotionally. Where peace is absent, pause us. Where peace is present, anchor us. Teach recognition of this signal, the quiet assurance that direction is right. We release the illusion that everything must make sense now. We surrender timelines built from fear. We trust guidance that unfolds step by step. Let patience replace panic. Let faith replace overthinking. Let alignment replace striving. Even when answers delay, let trust remain intact. Clarity does not arrive through force. Direction does not demand urgency. Alignment grows through attentiveness. Today begins not with confusion, but with grounded intention. The mind steadies, the heart aligns, the path unfolds. And so it is.